Hey, 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 what's up, you guys? It's your girl Stubbs, and welcome to another episode of the Stubbs Show. I thank you guys for joining me here every week for new interviews, new connections, new resources, and new reasons for you to take a leap of faith. That's the whole reason why I do this show because I want to connect you with people all over the world and also help my guests to connect with people from all over the world because we all need help in some spectrum, some area, some place within our life. I don't know about you. Let me not say all because some people be like, I don't need no help. But for me, I do. I always need help, and I'm always looking for places and spaces for me to grow. So that's why I opened up this show for you guys. So on today's show, we're going to be talking about holistic healing. But before I get more into that, I want to first say, you guys send out some prayers for the people all over the world, but most importantly, right now for the people in California because it's burning down. It is burning. Those fires aren't starting. And I feel so sad for the people in other places who the people who lost their homes. I'm sorry. And let's pray that the insurance companies do what they are supposed to do. I was just thinking about it. I said, these insurance companies, I hope they got their money right because it's going to be a lot that's going to have to be dished out. But before I get into my spill, get all chilled out and be down the block when I'm supposed to be right here, let's go ahead and get this show started. I'm going to come right back so we can get my guest on and we can talk about some healing because you're going to need that if you're in the California area. You're going to need somebody to talk to, and also all over the world. You just need people to talk to. I want you to be great, and healing has to take place for that. So let's get this show started. Firecracker need you because you be like, welcome back to the Stubb Show. I always kind of forget to cut that mic back off mute because I be cutting it on because my fingers be moving, and then when I go back and replay, I be like, they can hear me swishing through my keyboard to do things. But I honestly, let me just say this: I was a little thrown off today, so I believe that everything is going to work out as I do these interviews because most of the time these interviews be for me and you, and I feel like the universe always shows up with solutions right on time. So we're going to get ready to introduce my special guest. I hope you guys are sharing and resharing and resharing. So if you on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever platform you are on, reshare this, repost right now, and then later on after we end it on tomorrow, reshare it again because we need this positivity in this world with everything going negative. What it seems like it's wars all over. We're talking about the wars in other countries. There's wars going on right here in America. Some wars are going on right in your own mind, in your spirit, and in your homes, and you need to calm those wars down. So on today's show, we're going to help you get some tips and get you connected with my special guest who can assist you with your healing process and just opening you up to some natural healing as well as self-empowerment. So my special guest for today is coming from the Crystal Moon Holistic Healing. Her name is Miss Crystal Robinson, hailing out of Pembroke, Massachusetts, all the way here to Washington, D.C., and wherever you are to your laptop or phone to talk to you. But she is passionate about she's a passionate advocate for overall health and wellness, serving as a national board certified health and wellness course, and Chopper certified total well-being coach. With over 34 years in engineering, including 17 years as vice president, Crystal brings a unique blend of analytical skills and heartfelt compassion to her coaching practice. Her personal journey through grief, anxiety, and chronic health challenges has inspired her to empower others to embrace their inner strength and take charge of their lives. We're going to talk about more her, but by honoring her clients as the experts of their own lives, she fosters autonomy, creativity, resourcefulness, and self-efficacy. Let's welcome my special guest. Y'all can go to her website to read the rest because I want to get her on. It's a lot. It's a lot. Then my guests always send me the full bio. I'd be like, hold up. We can't read all that through this show. But we're going to welcome her to the stage. And anything that I left out, she can bring it up. Hello. How are you doing?
Hello. Thank you for having me. This is so exciting.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you today?
I had, when somebody asked me that at about 6 o'clock, and I was like, but it's going to go all the way up because I enjoyed my guests and doing shows as such. How was your day? Are you in the cold there? Is it snow?
It's very cold. We have a little bit of snow on the ground, not a lot, just a little, but it is very cold.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the Stubb Show where we are open, free, and warm. We're ready to get into our conversation of holistic healing and let my audience know more about you and how you can assist them. So I see you have good lighting.
Of course.
Because folks come at me and be like, well, what happened? I'd be thinking, well, your lighting was messed up. Maybe that was what's going on. But welcome to the Stubb Show. We're getting ready to get into your interview on today to talk about holistic healing, which is something that I'm into. And I want to introduce it to other people because I know sometimes my religious folks, they're a little hesitant and scared to try new things, but I want them to start wavering over into new things because it's part of the spirit. And we talk about so many great things about, the universe and our higher power and what they're able to do, but we don't lean on it as much as we do the doctors and other people and things of that such. So I want to get right into this interview and help them to have more understanding and open up their spirit to something new, I guess that would be. So can you explain to us give us more of a better description or your definition of what holistic healing is to you?
So my definition really is finding that perfect balance individually, almost like your own recipe. It's like if you ask somebody how they make a certain thing and you ask 10 other people, they all make it differently. And holistic healing is really finding all of those resources within yourself and outside of you that make that perfect recipe. Maybe it does include some doctors, maybe it does include some medications for a little while, whatever it takes to get you to where you need to be. But understanding that we are human beings and we constantly thrive and grow and change, and being open to that and understanding that there are so many things out there that we don't understand, but we believe.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the things that you can empower you in order to come into your own well-being. Looking at ancient practices, looking at, herb medicines, looking at all the different things, like what you put in your body, what you surround yourself with, the people, the music, the faith, whatever it is that you surround yourself with, and how that affects your body and how that affects your mind and your spiritual well-being. Yeah, holistic is really that whole thing. And my whole point of that is connecting the mind, the body, and the spirit. Because if you only work on one, the others are going to come out in a different way. And for me, they came out as illnesses.
So thank you. We're going to get into that because I do believe that even with cancer, people say, well, it's genetic, or it's in my genes, my DNA, my grandmother, my great grandmother, my mother, and my sister has it, and then they just mentally take on, I'm going to get it, or start worrying about it. And I believe that cancer is a stressor. And if we, take on, we don't take on the fact that our grandmother had it and start believing we're going to have it, we can kind of get out of that. So you're right about that. And like you said, the ancient healing factors, because if when you call your grandmother, whatever she says to do, you be like, okay, that's going to heal me. But nowadays grandmothers are so young, they don't know what to do, and everybody has gotten lost. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because we need to bring that back. So what made you want to take that leap of faith and assist others with healing naturally?
For me, it was just because it was the only thing that worked. I kept doing all of the Western practices. That's what I was conditioned to believe. That's what I was taught by, my elders, my authority figures, my parents, my grandparents. It was everything else was woo, and it wasn't real, or it was a scam. Everything from back in the day, chiropractic to supplements to whatever it was. And it was only what the doctor said goes.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, the more I did that, the more I got worse.
Mm.
The more conditions happened.
Mm.
The more I couldn't heal.
Mm.
Every time I had a condition, I would try to do what the doctor said, and I would just get worse. And it got to the point where I was at rock bottom and I didn't know what else to do. And somebody had said, try this holistic nutritionist. I've heard he's amazing and he can do some great things for you. And I was like, at this point, I'll try anything. And this was 12 years ago. And it really pulled me out of my rock bottom. He helped me figure out what was best for me energetically with foods and nutrition and my energy. And then moving from that, I got better. I slowly got better. I started like looking at my mindset and looking at my spiritual practices. And then got sick again. I got something else. And it was a life altering condition. It was a non-curable autoimmune disease. It's lupus. I was told never gonna get cured. You're gonna have this for the rest of your life. You're just gonna get sicker and sicker and sicker and eventually die. This is basically what they say with these types of conditions. And at first I kind of gave in, right? I kind of came into that victim mentality. I was like, okay, this is what I have to do. What do I have to take? They give you like all these specific medications. And I was already on a bunch because it took them a long time to figure it out. And I was just on whatever needed to like cover up the symptom. It was never know what the root cause was.
Right. And they just pass
why is this happening
to you.
Yeah. And it really took a lot for me to kind of get out of that, because the medication just made it worse. And I really had to like go outside of that and learn energy healing practices, meditation, like what was best for me. Start working through my mindset stuff. Start looking at my core beliefs and my limiting beliefs. Like all the things that were piled on me over the years that just weren't really me. They were just everybody else's expectations of me. And realizing that I was just allowing all the stresses to just become in my body.
Yeah.
And it took years, but over those few years, I did heal it. And I no longer take any medications.
Wait, did you just say you healed lupus?
I did.
You might want to keep that to yourself. No, share it. But
no, I share it as much as I can.
Jealous about that, but we're going to get more into that, because my next question was, and I think you probably answered it. You mentioned going through your own personal journey of grief, anxiety, and chronic health challenges. Can you tell us more about that? Which was one, you mentioned lupus, but I want to get into the grief part and anxiety.
Yeah, and the anxiety came first. That was like my first black hole, or rock bottom hole or whatever it was. And that was induced by medical trauma. I had anaphylactic reactions to multiple foods in my 30s. Never allergic to them growing up, never allergic to them. It was in my 30s that I started having reactions to foods and going to the hospital. My throat would close. I'd be on all these medications. And it happened over and over and over again. And the doctors would be just like, don't eat this, don't eat this. And like, I didn't eat that, but I'm back at the hospital.
Right.
And it was just one thing after another. So I realized that, they weren't helping me. And I got so crazy about it that I was afraid to eat anything. I was afraid to go anywhere. It's like whenever we tried to eat out, even though I told them I can't have this, I would have a reaction. It was like I was just in that hole of anxiety and panic attacks, just being afraid that like if I was around one of those foods, I would freak out. If like somebody close to me had eaten it, I didn't want to be near them. It was like I was completely overwhelmed by the anxiety of having anaphylactic shock and dying. And coming out of that was the hardest thing I had to do. That was like my big awakening. And that started me on the journey. And then I just got hit with one thing after another on top of it. It was just pushing me in the direction that I needed to be each time. It's just, all right, pull up your bootstraps, time to go again. What am I missing? What am I not doing? What am I not digging into? And most of that was really the stuff that you shove down, right?
Mhm.
All of your anxieties of your childhood, of your teenage years, of growing up, even in your 20s and adult life, dealing with toxic work environments, dealing with bullying, dealing with
Toxic
sexual assaults,
relationships.
all of those things, right? There's so much that we just deal with. And even specifically as women,
Mhm.
we're like, we just deal with it, right? We have too many other things, so we have to please everybody.
That
It's just
well,
and it takes us a long time to really kinda come out of that, if we ever do. I mean,
yeah.
I know elderly people who don't.
So many women specifically get stuck in that at least until after their children grow up, because it's like I'm a mother and I got to do motherhood, and I'm a wife and I got to do wife duties, and everything about us get pushed to the side, and it's like, okay, well, you're crying too much, or you complaining too much, or you're talking too much, and you keep it in. And what I'm hearing, well, let me ask, do you, before I say what I'm hearing, because I want to hear your opinion on this, do you believe that our mindset and our thoughts help us to become sick or ill?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The more I got into the anaphylactic shock, the more I had it. The more I got into that fear, the more it became. The more I and just lived in the lupus and being like, "Oh, well, I can't go outside anymore." And I lived in the sun before that because I'm gonna get a rash. Or, I can't lift these things because my hands hurt or my wrists hurt. Or, I can't be this active because it's just gonna make me have a flare. It was like one thing after another. I just ended up to the point where I was like just living in the sickness.
Mm, yeah.
And the medications, you just take them, it's supposed to help me, but you didn't believe it,
Mhm.
so it
And
didn't
you
come
become
true.
addicted to them sometimes, and also they, what they say, like, if you take too many Tylenols, your body, becomes, like, prone to it, and it doesn't work anymore, and I believe that also I mean, happens with, medication and also with our mind, like, what they say, your greatest fears come to you, like, you have to face them, and I believe so many times people don't face their fears, and that's when the sicknesses just stay on them.
Mm, totally true. It just piles up, and your body actually does keep the score, but most of us do not listen.
Did you read that book?
Ugh, yes, I did, and I read it after way too late, like, way too late. I should have read it way earlier because I wasn't listening to anything my body had to tell me.
Yeah,
It was
and the
over
body.
and over and over. It just kept hitting me over the head. "Hey, wake up. Hey, wake up," and I just didn't
Yeah.
until I got a brain tumor.
Ooh, good God Almighty. But you know what? See, you went through to get to,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, it's like each thing I went through was preparing me for the next and the next, and I got, more and more lessons, more and more learning, more and more just more and more understanding myself,
yeah, yeah.
right? Instead of just, like, what I was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
And you
just
had asked earlier, like, what made me wanna do this? Like, I've been in engineering all my life, since high school, and I was kinda pushed into it at that age because you had good math and science scores and you're going to do this, you're going to make money doing this. I wanted to be a cosmetologist, but I was told I couldn't do that. I wasn't going to make any money, and I was pushed into it, and because I was good at it, I just did it, and I climbed the corporate ladder. I had the kids. I kept getting my raises and my titles, and producing and making money and buying the house and buying the car and just doing everything that everybody said I should do. And it
mm,
wasn't until I really started having all of these epiphanies after massive health issues that I realized I wasn't living the life I wanted to live.
mm. I like that. That's powerful because, of course, you didn't want to have to go through that. But I do believe that we go through the things to get us to where we need to be. And when we sit on the person that we are, or that we supposed to be, we do get sick, we get ill. It's like suicide almost.
I think it is. I think it totally is. Like, if you think about the placebo effect, right? Like, if somebody tells you this is going to heal you and it's a sugar pill and they get better, it's proven. There's so many studies that can tell somebody this is going to make you sick and it's not going to make them sick, but they get sick anyways. It's a
Mhm.
mindset thing. Like, the mind is so powerful. It is, a major organ in your body. And most people take that for granted and they don't take care of it.
You are so right about that, and like you said, it's the most powerful source besides our senses and that which comes from our heart of love. But it tells the body to do everything, and like you said, it puts that fear in. And so many people are living in fear, and they are dying in that place. So that's why I wanted to bring this up because they're thinking about what the church said to do, what their mother said to do, what the Bible says to do. You should follow those things and have morals, but you need to do some more research. Some of those things are a little more ancient and need to get a little updated, or they need some references to go with them so you can see how things changed and how they were updated. We got the Old, we got the New Testament, but there may be another testament to come up for you. And I want people to start moving out of their fear factor and go into faith so that they can believe that they are who they are and heal themselves through natural healing. So why do you believe that holistic healing is a better option than conventional methods of healing, such as using prescribed medications?
Because it's proven to do actually that, heal. Medications don't heal, they conquer,
Mm,
right? Specifically diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. Those are like the major killers, right?
mm,
And all of those medications do is cover it up. You
mm.
don't change your lifestyle, you don't change your mindset, you don't change what you're eating, what you're surrounding yourself with. You just continue to do the same thing and be like, "Oh, my sugar numbers are fine because I'm covering it up with this." It's and you see it. You see with people, "I'm not changing the way I always do things. I don't want to. This is me." Like, well, is that really you? Is that what
Right.
you want to be?
Hmm.
Do you want to be like your own natural, powerful self, or do you want to be controlled by something that's made in a lab?
I agree with you. I hate taking medicine. It's got to be a forced thing for me. Like you got to, it's almost life and death, or like if it's a headache, it got to be at the killer place. To what it is like. Oh my God, I can't take anymore, and I have to take it because I do believe that, like you said, medication is just a cover up. And a lot of people, sorry to say, you guys, you need to get unlazy and start doing the work. Just popping that pill and sitting down and like you said, especially diabetes and high blood pressure, to defeat that, you got to get up and put some work into it. And a lot of people just don't want to do work. They don't like I said, sitting down and allowing your body and your mind and your spirit to do anything is suicide. Eventually, you're going to get to a place and just want to give up. But we getting ready to take a quick break, and then we're coming back on with my special guest to talk to you more about holistic healing. Remember, you guys, I know that you're on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have any questions, just please leave them in the comment section, and I'm going to get ready to go check Instagram and see what's going on with that. But folks, it's time for us to do better in 2025. Get out of that place of I don't care and I'm just going to let it happen, because that's not really what you want to do, especially if you are a parent and you have children. We have to start being an example to our children. And these children of today are very powerful. They want to do things their way, not our way. So let's prepare them to do it their way, but better, and teach their other peers to do so. So we get ready to take a quick break here right on the Stub Show. And we're going to come back with my special guest to talk about holistic healing. So don't go anywhere, you guys. You ready to live a sober life right from the privacy of your home? Well, check out the 7 Secret Pillars of Sobriety by author Tim Murphy. It is all about what to do when AA and 12-step programs aren't for you. You can check out his book on Amazon at 7 Secret Pillars of Sobriety by author Tim Murphy. It's time to make your change.
Hey, you guys, make sure you keep the conversation going and join us on YouTube at the Leap of Faith Network. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also keep the conversation going on Facebook weekly with our updates at the Stub Show. So make sure you go on there and like that as well. Also, if you just started a brand, took a leap of faith, or have a business and you want to share your testimony, your backstory, how you got things started, then we need you as a guest right here on the Stub Show. It's time to take that leap of faith, so connect with us so we can help you.
All right, you guys, welcome back to the Stub Show. Remember, if you would like to run an ad or have your product placed within the show, you can just email us at the lofnetwork@gmail.com or DM or inbox me from whatever platform you are on. I would like to also give a shout out to the Tab DC, located at 2033 11th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C. They are hosting their next level prayer revival. And that will be kicking off this Wednesday, January the 15th. Once again, that's at 2033 11th Street Northwest, Washington, D.C., Christian Tabernacle Church. If you have a free event coming up or an event that you would like to promote here on the Stub Show, you can just inbox me that information also. On today's show, we're talking about holistic healing. My special guest on today is helping you to get more confident and using your natural senses, like getting out and using the earth, using your brain, using your spirit, looking for other resources outside of just the norm of medication. So let me bring my special guest back to the platform on today, and we're going to get right back into our next question for today, because she has a book that I would definitely like you guys to know about, and make sure that you get connected with her and know how she can assist you. So you teach people how to get out of people pleasing and learn to live an authentic life. Do you believe that social media and family values also play a part in holding people back and from growing spiritually?
Definitely. Definitely. I feel like it all has to do with your mindset, right? What you surround yourself with. So you can change what you see on social media. You can unfollow and choose who you follow and who's on there. I
Mhm.
know originally I was just having family, and that was the only people that were on there. But maybe some of my family members, I didn't want to read their stuff, or
Mm.
it was negative, or it was too much. So you really have to learn how to like control that, because what you allow in is what you become. What you surround yourself with is what you end up being. It really is true. The environment has a huge effect on you. And in order to pull out of that, you need to find the places that you can get the peace, get the healing, find out where you need to be. The people pleasing thing is it's so prevalent in social media because it's like, oh, she has this hairdo, she has this bag, she dresses like that, they have this car, they have this house, oh, their kids are going to this college. Like it's one thing after another, and it's like a competition. And
Mhm.
life is not a competition. Life is about community and being together and cheering everybody on to be happy and healthy and fulfilled. It's not about the material stuff. It really isn't. And it takes a while to figure that out. I can definitely understand when you don't have a lot, or you're sitting in a lot of debt, and you don't know what else to do. And that's a place that I was. I was living in a place where I felt like I had to stay in a really toxic job just to pay the bills, just to live the way people expected me to live. Have that house, have that car, have those kids, have that job. And it was exhausting,
Yeah, it is.
totally exhausting. And that's what people pleasing is. Like, you realize you're just saying yes and yes and yes, and you're not living authentically. You're not being you. But most people don't even know who they are.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good one right there. People don't even know who they are. They're made up of so many people. And then now you add on, like you said, the social media, the family beliefs, the religion, and everything else. They don't know who they are. And I think people are scared to find out who they are. And sometimes I think that they don't want to do the work, or they fear letting go of what is now for the unknown. And I was in that place, so I know how that feels, but I know it feels better to start just doing the work.
Yeah, it's scary though, right? There's
Very.
nothing scarier than peeling back the layers and seeing what's inside and being vulnerable and starting to question those things. Like, I believe these things all along, and I'm going to change. Am I going to be a hypocrite? Right? We constantly start throwing these things on us, but as you grow, it's okay to say, well, I might have believed this before, but now I don't. Or now I'm questioning it. Or now I'm curious that maybe this isn't me, or maybe this isn't what I believe. Right? Those are the things that change. And like you said, it really happens a lot for people that are at the point where their kids are grown. And now they're
Mhm.
like, okay, my purpose and everything I did was around my kids.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
now what do I do?
Yeah.
I
What do
don't
you
have kids
do
to take
with it?
care of. So who am I now?
Yeah, and then that's that. Like you said, it is scary because you're moving out of mom mode to me mode, and it's like, do I have anything to do with myself? Because I've dedicated my life to my children, which has something to do with people pleasing. Because you tend to please your children in so many ways, and like you said, the fear. There's an author right here, Jay Shetty,
Jay. Yeah,
and
he's awesome.
yes, and it's think like a monk. And I know some people didn't see this and like, I'm not a monk. I don't want to be a monk. But what he's teaching in his book is simplicity, like how to lessen what you have and stop believing that you need all these big things that everybody has for you to be successful. They have that, but you don't need it. Like you say, you was into engineering and you climbed the ladder, you made all this money, but it's like, was that really what you wanted to do? And your happiness came out of you saying, what the hell? I'm not doing that no more. I'm going to do
Right.
what I want to do. And shout out to Terry Christine, because she was on last week and she was talking about, just hearing that spirit and taking that leap of faith and saying, F that, I'm going to do this now. And
Yeah,
some,
yeah. That's totally where I was. I was doing this for a couple of years and doing the engineering part-time. And I was like still kind of holding on to it, like that fear,
mm,
right? And when you feel uncomfortable, those are the times you really just kind of need to dive in. And there's so many places where you feel uncomfortable. So you can't dive into them all at once. You just got to do one at a time and just keep plowing through. And in one little step, right? It can just be one belief,
mhm,
one belief that this pill is going to heal me. Oh, well, maybe I can just change what I'm eating. One
yeah.
step. Maybe I can just do less processed food. Maybe I can take a walk every day. Maybe I can change the music I listen to or the TV shows I watch, right? It's just like one little step to kind of put you in the mindset and the frame that you want to lead, that you want to be in, that you want to live.
you,
If
you
you
know,
want to be happy and healthy, does it help to always blame people and complain? Like,
it
no,
doesn't.
you have power over you. It's
And those
all
people don't give a damn anyways. You know, people, I had to learn, like, you could complain to people and they may sit there and maybe 10% may care, but they only care for the moment or what they can give. And then afterwards it turns into, I can't do anything for you because I need to help myself. And then life goes on for people where they don't give a damn. And some people get mad, or they do care. Let me not say everybody don't, but they do care. But you have so much going on and you get mad with people for not caring enough when you should be caring for yourself.
Yeah, you can only control you. You can't control anybody else. And when somebody else is saying something that you feel like it's coming on you and it's your fault, it's from them. It's from their experience. Everybody's experiences are different, right? Even in the same family environments, like if you look at kids, they're all different and
Mm.
they're living in the same environment, but their experiences are different. So they're going to react differently. So if somebody's coming at you and you're like blaming it all on them, well, where is it in you?
Mm. Yeah.
Like, that's the shadow work. Like, why is that bothering you so much? You know, that's their life. So what? It's like the whole like let them is so hard for people to do. It's so hard for people to just be like, that's their life, not mine. We all take on those judgments and then we start doing them to others. And most of those judgments are based on your judgments on yourself.
I'm gonna take that in for me too, and I need to do some self work on me on some things with judgments and because you know that's true, and we want to be the person to say I'm not taking in 2025. I will end this year being that person where I'm not taking on your experiences because it's not mine. But it's so hard to do that when you love someone, when it's your loved one. But you said it. Key point is, why is it bothering you? Why is it triggering you? Why do you care? Because there is like something in you is in them and you see it. And a lot of times we don't even like to confront or take on and take the accountability that these people are seeing or experiencing these things, especially our children. When they say they're going through this, and like you said, we're like, wait a minute, I didn't teach you this. But I didn't tell you to do this.
You, not them.
Yeah, somewhere down the line, it was in you or in you, and that's why I got into them, you know, that way. So that's a good one, y'all. Y'all need to listen to that. Now, I have this next question, then we're going to go into grief, because on your website, you mentioned helping people with grief. And I know I have some people that are watching and that I will reshare that particular section with that are caught up in grief. But before I get into that, while we're talking about things and covering up, Kanye West once stated in his song, the things that we buy to cover up what's inside. And that rang in my ears. Do you believe that people purchase and do things to keep from doing the inner work to change their own lives?
Of course. I know I did it. I would go shopping and buy stuff I didn't need just to make myself feel better. Right? People do it. This is where addictions happen, right?
Mm.
They cover it up. They don't want to feel it. They don't want to be vulnerable. They don't want to think about it. Don't want to say, "Oh, well, I had, a play in that." Like, as we were talking about this came into my head, and maybe this will be valuable. I dealt with sexual harassment in a toxic work environment for a very long time, being a woman in an engineering field, dealing with older men, and I I stayed there. I put up with it.
Mm.
I just kind of let it happen. I acted naive. I
Mm.
just pretended I didn't know what was going on,
Mm.
even though I knew it was going on. And a lot of it was because after looking back, I didn't know that it was wrong. I just thought it was what it was supposed to be. It was kind of how I grew up. My dad was very much like that, male figure that was he would talk about sexual things all the time. I grew up around that. So it was like not a big deal if it happened. It was just like, yeah, this is just the way the world is. And I'm in a man's environment, so I'm going to have to listen to this. It wasn't until the Me Too movement really came out, many, many, many years later, after I dealt with this, that I was like, oh, this isn't right. This isn't okay. You mean this, I should have said something, right? And instead of just blaming and like wanting to just take that person and ruin them where I could go,
Right.
and I did in my mind a lot, right? But then you realize, like, what is that going to do? How
Mhm.
is that going to help me? It's not. It really had to come back to what's my responsibility there.
Mm. Yeah.
It's my own fault for letting it continue, right? and for not understanding or not knowing that it shouldn't be happening. And then understanding that, okay, that's my part in the whole thing, that I didn't learn or, get aware that this shouldn't have been happened. And I also didn't pick up and leave. I just kept doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, no matter where I go, I'm going to deal with this. So I'm just going to do it. And that twisting it and understanding that that person is that way because of all the crap in their life,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not necessarily because of me,
Right.
right? It really had nothing to do with me. I was not at fault, right? This person was definitely at fault for causing these things, but you're not responsible for that. You are responsible to heal. And the only way you can do that is to really look as what can I do? What can I take ownership of here? Get
Mm.
out of the blame shame where we just ruminate and it's miserable
Yeah.
and go, well, yeah, I shouldn't have dealt with that as long as I did. It was wrong. I kind of knew it was wrong, but I didn't think I could get out of it. I didn't think I had a leg to stand on. I just dealt with it. And now I can say, well, it turned me into who I am to now. And now I can talk to people and say, don't ever put up with that. Stand in your power. Don't let other people take it from you.
Mm, yeah. And that is so true. Not, I've dealt with sexual harassment in the workplace and we brush it off as, oh no, or, oh, we giggle about it and it keeps repeating itself. But like you said, if we do the work and we work on ourselves, we wouldn't put up that. As my mom would say, you nip it in the bud in the beginning, you know your worth and it moves on. But like you said, we grew up in eras where men talk like that. Sometimes it's like, shh, don't say nothing. You got that job, your boss is a man, and if you bring it to him, you're going to look like a female problem, and I felt all of that. Or looking like the snitch. People think snitching is just for the streets or criminal stuff, but you don't want to be that person that puts that out when you should. And that brings up the Diddy and Cassidy incident. I thought, wow, it took a lot for her to bring that up.
Yeah.
And the fear of, is it snowballing effect and other people are coming out. And I was like, it took a lot of confidence and support for her to do that, because as women, we'll sit in stuff. And if you don't know your worth, you'll keep putting up with and keep doing and keep putting, when you should say, once you get to that point of your self-healing, and we're going to get into self-empowerment, because you help them with that, and you let that stuff go, you ain't got time to be dealing with that. So let's get into grief, because I know time is against us right now, and we've been having an open conversation. My next question is on grief, because a lot of you guys are going through grief, and people pass away, and it's a hard thing to go through, but at some point you need to grow through to get to. So my next question for you is, grief can be a touchy topic because many people don't want to be told to move on and let go. Grief has destroyed people. Why do you think that it's so hard for people to grieve and move on? And in what ways can you assist with that?
Based on my own experiences with grief, I lost my stepmom and my dad within 3 years of each other, unexpectedly, both in accidents that shouldn't have happened, right? And I'm going to try not to get emotional because, when you start talking about it, and today would have been my dad's birthday.
Oh, happy birthday. Rest in
Birthday,
peace.
Dad. Love you. It's based on everybody else's expectations of what you should be doing, right?
Elaborate a little more on that.
Grief, the whole process of it, and the way that I found it was, when it really hit me, I just got into the doing to shut it off. I'm like, I'm not even going to deal with it right now because I have to, plan this and plan that and take care of these people and do that. Like, I'm the oldest, I got to do everything, right? And that shut it down. But then, if I was alone or just with my spouse, I would just break down, and it would be okay because I couldn't show weakness around other people because they knew I was strong and I shouldn't, right? And same thing with the sexual harassment. Like, I was strong, I shouldn't, right? And the same thing with the grief. And when I was going through it with my dad, I did the same thing. But then I also realized that I was afraid a little bit of being that person, and people would think that I didn't care and I wasn't grieving.
Mm.
So it's like the judgments were going both ways. And
Mhm.
your grieving process really comes down to your connection with yourself and your spirit and what your expectations are of your life without that person,
Mm.
right? If you're living in the I'm not going to have this because of that, I'm not going to share this because they're not here, like all of those things, instead of living in the amazing memories,
Mhm.
the things they taught you, the things, the reason that they're not here is usually, universally spiritually designed for you to
Mhm.
grow. Like there was a reason that these people leave our lives, right? They come, they do what they need to do, and they leave. And it's awful, when kids pass, it's just awful. A parent loses a child, it's just there is no way to explain it, right? But the only thing is take your grieving process and make it yours and don't do what other people think you should do,
Mm.
right? If you want to cry, cry. If you don't want to cry, then don't cry, right? Like, don't do what everybody else thinks you should do because then you're being conditioned again.
Mm.
And I think that that really dictates how well you grieve. Like getting back into yourself and spiritually connecting, looking for the signs. My mediumship blew wide open before my dad passed. There was a
Okay,
reason.
you're who?
My mediumship.
Explain the mediumship.
I talk to people that have passed.
Okay, so it started, so it was giving you warnings that death is near.
I think so. Like all of a sudden, I'd be somewhere and spirit would start talking to me, and I'd be like, "What is going on? Am I crazy?" And it was after I had the brain tumor removed, so I was like, "Well, stuff's opening up. I'm just whatever." And I got to the point where I was just like, "I'm just gonna dive in." Instead of just pushing it off and thinking I was crazy, I just dove in, and I realized that the reason that it was happening to me was because my dad got in the accident and he was in a hospital in an induced coma for like almost a week. And
Mm.
he talked to me the whole time. He
Mm.
was
Okay.
outside of his body, and I had to do something for him so that we could let him go.
Mm.
And he had to be able to talk to me. And if my mediumship hadn't opened up, I couldn't have done that. And I couldn't have also helped his new wife grieve, as well as myself and my husband and my kids. There was a reason for it.
Mhm.
And that's where I think if people connect with your spirituality and whatever it is you believe in, whether you believe they reincarnate, whether you believe they're in heaven, whether you believe, they're spiritually around us every day, there is signs.
Mhm.
There's constantly signs. You just have to open yourself up to them and be curious,
Mhm.
right? And even like if you can connect into your own spirit and ask for a sign.
Mm.
Will you show me butterflies? Or will you show me, ask for something really weird, right? That that person loved, and you'll be surprised. You'll find it. It'll happen. It won't happen in that second, but it'll happen within a week or two's time. You'll be like, oh, I asked for unicorns. I'm seeing them everywhere now.
You know, and I agree. I definitely do agree. And at first, when you hear little things on the inside or you start noticing stuff, you seem crazy because the
Yeah.
people around you or the people who have raised you may have told you that's crazy and you don't do that and that shouldn't be happening. But when you hear people who have excelled and they're moving in their spiritual being, they tell you things like that. It's like, wow. And even if you don't believe, you see the evidence of them moving in a certain light and feeling and doing things a certain way. And what else I heard is when you said with people that are listening going through grief is you got to take it in and get back to you. I think that, we listen to people say, well, I should be doing this, or especially when you lose a spouse and you have children, it's like, oh, I shouldn't be dating, or I shouldn't be having so much fun, or I shouldn't go out and do this and do that. Well, if you don't, you're almost dying with that person. I almost feel like, they always say like with couples, you be together so long and one dies, the other dies right after. Sometimes it can happen like that, but sometimes in life you wish for death by not letting them go, and letting them live. And one more thing, I needed my dad one time, and I prayed about it. And I tell you, the dream he showed up in, I would have sworn I was really there. But when
Mhm.
I woke up, I had talked to him and was relieved. I didn't have to disbelieve. I knew I had spent that time with my father because I asked for it. And I'm not saying it's like you see this spirit come up in front of you and this voice is like, no,
No.
it just happens like a subtle way that needs to happen for you. So all my grievers out there, you need to make sure you connect with my girl Crystal Robinson so she can help you to get out of this. And I'm talking to you. If you think I'm talking to you, you the one I asked that question for. I'm talking to you so you can let go and move forward. Let them know how they can connect with you so we can get into your book and self-empowerment.
Yeah, you can definitely find me at crystalmoonholistichealing.com. Also on Facebook and Instagram under Crystal Moon Holistic Healing. And I'm also on LinkedIn under my name, Crystal Robinson.
Now tell us about this wonderful book that you just came out with.
So The Change, here it
Mhm.
is. It's awfully bright, huh?
Mhm.
Um, this is an anthology. This is an international bestseller. It's an anthology. There are over 20 authors in this book from all around the world. There's an author from Australia, Canada, Europe, US, a whole bunch. And they're all stories of self empowerment. So it's called The Change Insights into Self Empowerment. And my chapter is all around my journeys through illness and finding that mind, body, spirit connection and how I got empowered through it. Um, it was it kind of came upon me out of nowhere. I knew I wanted to write my own full length book, and this popped up, and I was like, all right, I'm in. And of course, I started writing, and I knew I already had a book, but I had to condense it down into one chapter. So this one chapter is jam packed.
We're waiting for
Um,
part two. We need the full book.
yeah, I'm working on it. I'm actually already working on it, and it's coming out soon. The great thing about this book, if you don't like reading books, like a
Uh-huh.
whole book, right? You can pick and choose. You can read a chapter, put it down, pick it up, read a chapter, and you're not being like hanging in the balance because you're reading so many different stories. And one of the cool things about this is the forward is by Les Brown.
Listen, I'm on my
Amazing.
way to TED Talks.
He is amazing, right?
Yes, yes, very powerful author and inspirational person, motivator, leader, all
Yeah.
those things. Shout out to Coach Andre, because he was just on and he has a book written with Les Brown. So, we've been Les Brown going to have to come on here next because we've been bringing him
Yes,
on, and I
that
believe
would be
that
awesome.
it's going to happen. So, when we talk about self empowerment, what does that mean to you?
That means finding your resources and your resilience, your superpowers. We all have them. We've all used them. You just got to look and see what hardships have I been through? What things that I have to get through? What conflicts? Everything in my life from childhood all the way to now. What did I do to get through that? Because you're still here.
Mm-hmm.
You got through them.
Mm-hmm.
What was the things that you did? And how is that your superpower?
Mm.
Right? Everybody has a different superpower. Everybody has different resiliencies. Some people are just, really strong in their body. Some people are just really strong in their mind. Some people, their spirit and their faith is the main thing. Some people, they balance them all really well. Some people are just really good at like working with other people. Some people are really good at technology, right? Everybody has different superpowers. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why villages work,
Yeah.
right? If you go back to, living on the land and a village, you have everybody there and everybody contributes to everybody's community and how it works. So it's so rough for us to ask everything of a single person all the time. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why we don't come back to us. We living the expectations of society instead of just, oh, these are my superpowers. This is what I'm really good at. This is what I'm going to do.
Believing in yourself. I love that. That because we go. Well, I know I used to. I was at the preacher. I was at my mama, my sister, my friend. Oh, they say this, and it builds up so much goddamn confusion. Where you're like, well, which way am I going? Left, right, front, ahead? And you just gotta take on self and start doing what you need to do with you. And it don't always feel good because people aren't going to like you when you start doing what you want to do instead of listening to them and then growing. Sometimes grief comes when you got to outgrow them old friends and family members and tell them sayonara and sitting with self has right.
I've done that.
Would you say swoosh? It's a
We
great
do. You know, we keep these things in our lives, like specific family members or specific, because we feel like we have to. And really, you don't. Is it serving you? Because if it's not serving you, are you just going to continue to live miserably?
yeah.
So many people do. I
Yeah.
did for the very longest time, just thinking I need to keep this together. It's the legacy of the family. It has to be kept together. I have to do it. And it wasn't until I started like letting those things go that I
Mhm.
was like, oh, that weight that I've been carrying around so long, I can just do what I want to do and be happy with me and my husband and my kids. And if anybody else jumps in, yay. If not,
And
it's okay.
sometimes you gotta let those grown kids go too, because them kids will drag you too. Shout out to my girl Tracy McLean. She's a wedding officiant. She's on here, you guys. Her comment was, she said, mostly my kids are the persons that trigger me. Baby, if those kids are grown and they don't like what's going on in your home, send them right along. I like that. Y'all like that because sometimes you gotta get your kids will be your worst enemy at times, and they're bringing up stuff. You gotta be like, hold on, let them get out and experience some things, and always be in support of them and be there to say, hey, you can always come back home. But sometimes you can't keep trying to hold your kids' hand and teach. You gotta let them go out on their own and learn. And then come back. They'll go get beat up a little bit. They come back and say, "Mama, you so right. This happened, and how did you?" And they'll understand parenting. Now we getting ready to end this, but before we do, I got two questions. My first one is, what has been the most rewarding and greatest experience that you have experienced since diving into your spiritual healing process?
Really understanding myself and loving myself and knowing my worth. For the longest time, I was trying to prove myself to everybody. And going in and really doing the work and knowing that I am a different person than I was before, right? You're never the same person from one year to the next. Look at me 5 years ago, look at me 10 years ago, look at me 15 years ago. Completely different person, right? From
Mm-hmm.
a high powered executive in engineering where, I was the office bitch. I had to prove myself around all those men to
Mm-hmm.
being a holistic healer where I help people live their, most fulfilled and happy lives. It's completely changed. And that's because I went into me and figured out who I really was and stopped living with the facade.
Mm. And that's hard. That's a beautiful feeling to come into, but it's a hard one to work on. But once you do the self work and self empowerment, those are the things that you need that will naturally put up those borders to keep folks from attacking and treating you like shit. So if you're like, why are they treating me like this? Well, you need to do some self empowerment so you can stand up to their ass and say, no more. Deuces. So we get ready to take a quick break, and when I come back, I want to make sure you guys got all the information to get a copy of your book, to get in touch with Ms. Robinson to assist you. You're going to hear what services she can assist you with, and you can get connected. Listen, 2024 is gone. All that stuff that you did in 24 need to be left there. If it ain't good, stop carrying it. We still are under 30 days of this first year. Forget those resolutions. We're doing lifestyle changes. We're healing ourselves. We're becoming better. We're walking into doors knowing that we're supposed to be there. We're manifesting. We're going after the things that we want in life without a shadow of a doubt, and letting people tell us you can't do it. You know how many of you guys are sitting on gifts and blessings, visions, and so many things, because and your own goals, because your family, your friends said you couldn't do it, some man, some woman. No, we're not doing that. We are exiting out the doors of holding back and lack to go right into all that. Your girl up here hitting rhymes today. Somebody sign me up to get on the microphone. Oh, I'm on one. Okay. All right, let's take this quick break real quick, and we'll be right back, you guys, here on the Stubbs Show. All right, you guys, I'm back. Remember, check out these authors that I'm showing you. I don't do lame books. We're not just bringing any book on the show now. I'm going to tell you that right now. You might say, oh, I want to advertise. I'm not going to share any type of book with my audience. So you guys, when I'm sharing something with you, go check it out because it's going to enhance and improve your life. So we get ready to get back into my special guest. So we go ahead and end this conversation. I'm going to let her leave you guys with something positive. Make sure you know the services that she can offer you. Get connected with her website, which is right here for my Instagram folks. Facebook, we're right there. And YouTube, you can do the same link also. But let's get ready to bring my special guest back so we can get ready to end the show for today. I thank you guys for joining us. If I missed any comments or anything, you guys know I try. So she'll come back on Facebook to answer them, and you can inbox her on Facebook. How about that? All right. So did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, it's great. I always love having conversations like this, especially when they're so like ingrained and we connect and we can talk about things that mean something to us and those people that are listening.
Yes, because it blessed my life. I got some things that I'm going to work on my own that I need to get, within me that nobody can help me with because I was listening. And I'm like, I need to get this together. We may have to have a part 2 with you and Terry Christine on together. I think that, oh my God. And my other girl is going to have to come on with that too. That would be
Let's do a group coaching.
I don't know. We might do too much. We might break the internet. Our energy, all 4 of us together in our energy, we're going to be like
loud and proud, girl.
Let the people know what services you offer and how they can connect with you and why they need to connect with you.
Yeah, you can connect with me at Crystal Moon Holistic Healing. Check out my website. I offer one-on-one tailored coaching where we figure out what it is, where you're at, where you want to go, and how we're going to get you there. And it can be anywhere from getting out of diabetes medication to working on your shadow, to working on your grief, to finding out what those limiting beliefs are, to really having a better relationship with those around you by having a better relationship with yourself. I also offer a 6-week intensive coaching program that's both group and individual, and that starts in February, and that's launching now. You can get early bird if you commit before the 15th, so that's only 2 days away. And I also offer speaking engagements, podcasts like this, and workshops at different places around the world.
Sign up for a 6-week course, you guys, on our website. Make sure you go there, crystalmoonholistichealing.com, and we'll be sharing things on the Facebook and Instagram page so you guys can stay connected throughout this week. Before I let you go, first of all, I want to say thank you for joining me. I had a good time. I always connect with people and be like, I was thinking, how could I find a way to keep everybody? But I can't. So my hardest part is just letting go. But if you have any events coming up or you coming to DC, girl, come on over. We can do some wine. If you want to do water, I'll do wine. You can do water.
I like wine.
Okay, we'll do wine, and we can you can join me here, and we can do a live here. And if I come to Massachusetts, I'll hit you up, and just keep me involved in your upcoming events and things so we can share with our audience so they can get the healing that they need. But leave us with something positive, whatever it is you want to say. It can be anything positive.
No matter what, go back to you. That's the most positive thing I can tell anybody. take a step back, breathe, and go back to you. No matter what it is that's happening in your life, the conflict, the grief, the miserable situations, take a moment and breathe. Go back into you. Where are my superpowers? I
like
can
it.
overcome this.
I like it. Go back
Hey,
to
if I overcame lupus and a brain tumor, you can overcome what's coming in your life.
that. Lets you know there's magic somewhere in the spiritual healing. And
It's
in this,
all
yes, you got to believe to receive. I'm so glad that you are healed. You fought that. You guys dealing with lupus, and I got a few folks, and I'll make sure I share with who are dealing with lupus. It's beatable. It's curable. Don't sit there and let that doctor tell you got to take this medicine. You can't do this. You're getting ready to die. You ill. I believe if you believe that, then that's what you're going to receive. So I thank you, Crystal, for joining us here on the Stubbs Show. You continue to have a blessed evening and a blessed day, and I look forward to staying connected with you.
Thank you. Mwah. Love and light.
All right. Thank you, guys. Remember, make sure you connect with her on her website and do the work. You know, the healing starts here. If you believe that pill can cure you, if you believe that a doctor can got all the answers, even if you believe that a person, a human being that said whatever religious factor you go into can pray over you to give you the healings, trust. If you start believing in the power of yourself and your own mind, you can do it for you. Manifestation is real. If you want it, you can get it if it belongs to you. But you have to believe it and then start doing the work so that you can receive it. Create a lane. Always tell people, you want new things in your home, make space for it. If you have a hoarded home, if it's cluttered and you got all this stuff you're trying to hold on to, let it go so you can have space for the blessings and the new things to come in. Because if there's no space for it, you can't allow it. You know, so start opening up yourself to letting go of the old and coming back into the new. I thank you guys for joining me here for another episode of the Stubbs Show. Let me see if I can get some music on for you guys this week. I'm looking for some more music to play and put on the show, but I'm gonna go ahead and put my sister on because I love this song. You guys will love it too, and it goes perfect with the topic for today of spiritual healing. So this is Days Vibration. She's in Puerto Rico right now, but straight out of California. Make sure you guys check her out on YouTube at Days Vibration. Let's see if this comes on through. The name of this song is called Stay. Right here on the Stubbs Show. Remember, you want your music played, just email us, connect with me, inbox me, whatever it is. Tell a friend and tell a friend that I'm looking for videos and I'm getting you the attention that you need. So, all right, you guys, I got to go. I'll see you next week.
Don't go, stay a while. Don't go, stay a while. Don't go, stay a while. How do you love like that? How do you love like that? Like God condition your heart, your mind, your body, your soul. Or were you just made to love? Don't go, don't go, don't go. You don't have to go. Stay a while. Don't go. I hope you don't have to go before I get to know. How do you love like that? How do you love like that? How do you love like that? Give love, but don't get love right back. I wanna know. I gotta know. Don't go before you go. Don't go before you go. Don't go before God calls you home. Don't go. Stay away.
You guys, make sure you keep the conversation going and join us on YouTube at the Leap of Faith Network. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and also keep the conversation going on Facebook weekly with our updates at the Stubbs Show. So make sure you go on there and like that as well. Also, if you just started a brand, took a leap of faith, or have a business and you want to share your testimony, your backstory, how you got things started, then we need you as a guest right here on the Stubbs Show. It's time to take that leap of faith, so connect with us so we can help you.